Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aquarius energy. And we're going to get out the cards and then we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people are at different kind of emotional maturity levels. And so they'll harness their Aquarius energy differently. A more worldly energy or shadowy energy. Well, shadowy can just be that people are more caught up in themselves, and we could feel they have some growing up and maturing to do. A more worldly, just more caught up in things of the world right now in their life, which we've all been there in the sense that there's a lot of things we want to manifest in the world or indulge in the world. And people can stay caught up in that viewpoint in life all their life. Some people start to look at life from a higher perspective, think that, and it could be because they complete that phase. And so, when we're younger, we could just be more about ourselves. As we get older, we might put work and effort to job and career and things like that and family. And then as you get older, maybe because you've established some of those things or not, you might start to think there's a higher purpose to being on the planet than just those things or in addition to those things. High vibe energy is about balance. So, we're still in the world and you still can be focused on your friendships and your relationships and your family and things that you want to manifest in the world. But in high vibe, you could realize you have more to work with than just the things of the world. Which partly you've been given the gift of your intuition. And some people don't listen to their intuition, and other people very much listen to their intuition, like their gut. You can have people smile in your face, and they seem like nice, just fair people, but if your gut tells you, I don't think this person is who they say they are, I think there's something going on underneath the surface, like I can't see, then they listen to their intuition about that. So this could be a story, needless, of kind of what Aquarius energy at large is dealing with. We all have free will. We can make decisions that are more about ourselves or these things of the world, or we can choose to align with our more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And this might be something that more impacts people who might be an Aquarius sun, moon, or rising, or got significant Aquarius placements in their chart. But we all do tap into Aquarius energy, so therefore it kind of affects all of us. So we start out with a card not showing itself, and then we have the Three of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. And the reason that came out is because of the Seven of Swords. So I view both the Queen of Swords and the Seven of Swords as Aquarius energy, which can, Aquarius, also represented by the star card, can talk about that we all have these dreams and we have our idea of the dream life and our truth and how we'd like to live our life. And that's kind of the Three of Wands is Aries energy, which also can be, I'm taking action to try to bring a dream into reality. It's just the difference can be what is the driving factor, what is the truth. I'm not sure. I might have called this the Six of Swords. This is actually the Seven of Swords. And the critical factor in the Seven of Swords is, are you kind of listening to your intuition or not? We can move forward in things and we could be taking action right now to bring a dream into reality. Perhaps moving forward, and we can all do that, but because the 5, the 6, and the 7 of Swords are all Aquarius energy. So in 5, I have a dream. In the 6, I go to maybe take action on it. But then in the 7, it's like to reconsider, or are we going to listen to our intuition? Because if we don't listen to our intuition and we keep moving forward with something anyway, that might be us emotionally operating more from our ego. The Queen of Wands is Leo energy. If we do listen to our intuition, and in high vibe Aquarius, we're staying focused on the big picture, not maybe taking action. The Queen of Swords can talk about having felt betrayed or feeling betrayed or kind of being full of ourselves, which also shadowy Leo can be kind of taking action more out of pride and ego. And that could be the difference of how different people are handling their Aquarius energy right now. Some people are inspired to look at life from a higher perspective. If they had been moving forward in something and maybe realized they were being more manipulated in their worldly nature, their egoic nature, they decided to stop and listen to their intuition and really think about, how am I moving forward in my life? Who am I moving forward with in my life? Who is kind of fire sign energy can be, and high vibe Leo particularly, about being authentic, loving, encouraging. Am I being that within myself? Those are the people, and that's the way I want to move forward, listening to my intuition. And if I have people who want me to keep moving forward with them, but I feel like those people could tempt me more to be more in my ego, not listen to my intuition, because I've felt betrayed, maybe be defensive to loving and believing in myself and believing in my dreams, well, then I'm going to take action more out of ego, and I might align with other people who are happy I'm in that energy because that's the energy they're in, and then they want to hang out with other people who are in that energy. So, what's this card that's not showing itself? The Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups can represent all three of the water signs: Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So some people did decide, no, I'm not maybe going to connect in with my emotions. Aquarius is air sign energy. Some people can be motivated and inspired emotionally. I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart and operate more from my ego nature. I don't want to do love. I could get hurt doing love. I've been hurt doing love, and I don't want to do love anymore. And, that also can be listening to your intuition. So then it's more, I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart, me and my ego. We think we know best. Well, pride comes before the fall. And so sometimes when a card like this isn't showing itself, the way I interpret it is that we can get in job, friendships, and relationships with people, and we don't realize that emotionally we harness those energies differently. Some people very much are in their Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio nature. Their truth is they are more motivated and inspired, and their dream is to be in a relationship with people more driven and motivated to be inspired by love. And we can get in more mismatched relationships where the people more motivated and inspired by love think everybody's motivated and inspired by love, and they get in relationships with them and they find out that's not the driving factor in their life. And the people who could be more about themselves or about ego or image or money and materialism, or maybe staying in friendship or relationship just because you feel betrayed or just to be in a relationship or something, they could think everybody thinks that way. And really, love isn't a driving factor. And for the people who are in more mismatched relationships, eventually, they can feel betrayed by each other because they have these different ways of looking at life. I thought this is what drove and motivated you. And the other person's like, well, I thought this is what drove and motivated you. And you just kind of realize you view life differently in your Aquarius energy and your Leo, your Aries, and especially maybe in your water sign energy. Some people we have the free will, and some people decided, I don't really think my emotional nature is worth investing that much time and energy and effort into. I don't think it's a significant part of what I'm trying to manifest in my life. Like, I could just pretend and look like I'm a just and fair, loving person, but I don't really have to be. I can just, and that could be, again, living more from their mind than their heart, kind of operating more from their ego, And anybody can decide my emotional nature is not that important. And other people, which also is more connecting in with their more loving nature. And other people are exactly the opposite. But we can meet people in the world, they can kind of look the same. Everybody can present themselves as a more just, fair, stable, grounded, emotionally mature, loving person. And then we find out that they could be very disconnected from their emotions. More inspired by themselves or the world, and it's not really love, but they could want what other people have and to kind of look like their dreams have come into reality. They just haven't realized the importance of maybe even the pages can also mean some people could be more immature and they try to hide that. So a queen would be much more mature than a page. In tarot, we have the pages, the knights, and the kings and the queens. And so some people are quite immature, but they decided they don't have to work on that. They'll just present themselves as like they're a more emotionally mature person than they are. And they can get in relationships with people who they don't realize are quite in high vibe. The Page of Cups can be these very hopeful, believing, loving people. And I think shadowy people hope to get sometimes in relationships with people who are more high vibe because it makes them look like they're more high vibe. And then the high vibe people can put a lot of work and effort, to make a relationship just and fair and loving and try to move it forward. And they're like, that's great. Let me come with you. And you're going to put in a lot of work and effort to try to make that happen. Perfect. And they'll ride along with people until eventually maybe those people might start to realize that they are putting in most of the work and effort. And, things are supposed to be just and fair. You're supposed to equally put in work and effort from love. So then we have the Queen of Cups, the Ten of Wands, the Six of Swords. And the reason for that is the High Priestess, which I view the Queen of Cups as Scorpio and the High Priestess as Cancer and Pisces. So the people who are motivated and inspired by love, who listen to their intuition, in the Ten of Wands, that could be people from the 3 to the 10 have been putting in this work to move something forward. Because in the Six of Swords, like the Seven of Swords and the Queen of Swords, they have a dream in their Aquarius energy. But eventually, the people who are motivated and inspired by like truth and love to put in work and effort to bring a dream into reality, motivated by love, eventually those people in the Ten of Wands can talk about feeling kind of overwhelmed because as they could kind of maybe look back at it, the other person's maybe at Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is Aries energy about the self, that really some of the people in their life could just be seeming to be more about themselves. And riding along with, but again, the other people could be putting in the bulk of the work to move something forward in a more just, fair, balanced, loving way. And the Seven of Swords can talk about how you feel the people who are taking action from truth and love, putting in work and effort, could kind of feel like the other people are being deceptive and manipulative. Like they want to come with, for some reason within themselves, like this could be good for my ego and image, you're loving and you're encouraging, yeah, I'll come with. But they themselves could kind of be hiding that they feel overwhelmed. So everybody can end up feeling overwhelmed because if you're in a more mismatched relationship, friendship, or like workplace environment, really how you want to move forward and what drives and motivates you are these different reasons. And then it could, if one person doesn't like to listen to their intuition, Um, well, if other people do, and they're trying to be loving and encouraging to get people to move forward and bring this dream into reality, and when we're moving forward in something, we kind of have to see, going from the Seven of Swords down to the Six of Swords, we let go of something, the Ace of Swords. Um, we kind of have to listen to our intuition about what is working, what isn't working. Typically in tarot, like the Six of Swords is the people in a boat rowing a boat. And if it's really overwhelming to try to move things forward, it's like, why is this so hard to move this forward? And could you imagine if people are in a boat and someone's dream life was like, well, I really want to go over there and live life like this. And the other person's like, I want to go over there. And my idea of the dream life is to live life like this. What if they're taking turns trying to move the boat forward? And when the one person gets in, they go that way. And then when the other person gets into rowing the boat, they're going that way. It's like, it's like the Ten of Wands, again, can talk about feeling overwhelmed. And it's like, is this dream ever going to come into reality? And that's when you can kind of realize, and your intuition might tell you that I feel like it's a more mismatched relationship. Scorpio, like Aquarius, is fixed sign energy. Leo is also fixed sign energy, which can mean people have a way of living life and viewing life, and they want, and they're motivated and inspired and love or like living life like that. And they really don't want to move forward differently. The truth sets us free. We have to see life is about learning lessons in life. And in order to move forward differently, we have to see kind of what are the good building blocks to take with and what aren't the such good building blocks to take with. We have to maybe let go of one thing to choose something else. And some people could be like in the Ten of Wands, they can get to that place where the opportunity is there after there's a maximum of 10 in every suit. So after the Ten of Wands, you'd come out with the Ace of Wands. But you have to let go of something. Well, and to have a brand new beginning, the Ten of Wands is Sagittarius energy, which is about higher learning and education, philosophy, being inspired to go on a new adventure. And some people just aren't ready to go on a new adventure, but they might be hiding that, is what shadowy high priestess can be about. And it might be just because some people, the difference between the Three of Wands and the Ten of Wands is the Seven of Wands, which is Leo energy, which can be, I had a way of living life and viewing life that I was moving forward, that I view as victorious and successful, that I defend. And and that could be my idea of the dream life, and I'm happy living my life that way. That's how I want to keep living my life. And when we get in these more mismatched relationships, it's like people who create the illusion, oh yeah, I'm wanting to bring that dream into reality. Yeah, I've let go of some way of living life or viewing life or habit or behavior or vice or something to bring that dream into reality. I have kind of seen what needs to go, and I'm willing to let go of that to move forward differently, or where it's not more about me. Again, if we're going to work together with other people, do we have the same dream, or are we kind of being deceitful? Are we moving forward in something maybe more because we feel betrayed, because we're in our ego? But it's kind of like people who could get out of a relationship, create the illusion they're willing to move forward in another relationship and work on bringing a dream into reality with that person, but they're still not emotionally over the past relationship. And sometimes, yes, people can realize that during the course of the next relationship. Well, if that's the case, it'd be nice to tell the truth that this I don't think is aligned with my truth. I think I need to still heal. But that could be for some people. Other people aren't ready to become independent of either being more about themselves or other people. They could be codependent. That's what the page can talk about, is being codependent. People could be codependent on other people, like their friend group or, say, their original family that they grew up with, where they're not really ready to be more independent of them and kind of live their more authentic life. And they might have friends or family members who don't really want them to be more independent. And, because sometimes people can always want to be the primary foundation in your life, even if you can't marry those people. And the people that you could marry and maybe have children with aren't those people. But those people still like to be the primary foundation in your life, like forever. And some people could be more codependent on those people, and they could get in new relationships. They could even marry people. But then as they move forward and trying to manifest this new dream with the people that they're in friendship or relationship with, can be really overwhelming for them because, well, for one, if the truth is they never wanted to be more independent of those people, or they could know that those people don't like it if they're more independent, one or the other. It could really kind of like divided loyalties. I have this dream, and we can have this dream where would we like to have some of the people in our life, say we have people we were in friendship with since we were young, and we have our original family that we grew up with, and you want to move forward in your life, hopefully in high vibe, being inspired to listen to your intuition and love, and you want to go, maybe you want to move, maybe you want to pursue your career and it requires you to move, or you meet people that are kind of more on the same page as you, and you really enjoy those people. You'd kind of like to still have the other people in your life. There's nothing wrong with having, it's just like our family. We become more independent of the original family we were born into. They can always have our significant people in our life, and we can love and appreciate them. But if we're going to get in a relationship with other people and get married, well, even if you don't get married, but you can have these other relationships in your life that, because you're manifesting. It's kind of like growing up with your friendship groups and your original family. That was a stage of part of your dream of like becoming yourself. And then we can have a little, parents and children can have a little conflict when the children are going out on their own, but we kind of see the truth that I can't live my life like an 18-year-old and live with my family all my life. I need to become more independent, and the family also might want them to become more independent, to start, being inspired by their own dream, to love themselves, take over that role within themselves. And that's how I view high vibe Leo, is learning to love yourself. And that can take decades. And take over that role within yourself, to be a loving and nurturing person to yourself, to stand up for yourself, believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, give some time, maybe emotionally, to really kind of connect in with your emotions and your intuition about what does really drive and motivate you. What are your dreams? And some people, like I say, could just be more codependent. Like, well, I don't want to have to do that. Can't we just do things the way we've always done it. And then they could have friends or family members, and they're like, I don't want things to change. Let's just keep doing things the way we've been doing it. But the other people are like, but this is part of the steps of life, and we're all kind of moving forward and changing. Again, just like sometimes children don't want to be more independent. Sometimes children, and then they could have family members, friends, or parents who don't want them to be more independent. And then it can be the opposite, where they do have friends and family that are trying to get them to be more independent and they don't want to be. And the same thing can kind of flip the other way, as an analogy, where the children are off doing their thing, grown up, right? And the parents can be more these people who feel betrayed because they were always supposed to make them the center focus of their life. And the children are like, no, we're going, I have my own dreams and aspirations. I got to create my own life, And, you can still be friends and family member. And then the other situation could be where, the people don't want to leave and the other people are like, you are an adult, go make your own life because I have my own other things. Like everybody kind of, to go to that next phase of life. Life is going to keep moving forward, and the problem is when some people are like hiding maybe that they either are more codependent, more defensive to change. It's like if they get in a friendship, a relationship, or a job, they have these ways of doing things where they're not willing to work together with other people more cooperatively to bring that dream into reality the way those people would like to work with people to bring that dream into reality. And it's like, well, I worked with these people one time and we were working together like this, and that's how we did it. It's like, well, then you should go work with those people. Oh, well, I can't work with those people, or those people left, or those people passed away, or these people moved on. Well, then if you're going to work together with other people, it can't be, oh, I want to work together with you to bring a dream into reality, but, oh, I want to do it this way, secretly. The high priestess can kind of be like secretly, and the seven of swords can kind of be deceptive and manipulative. Oh, by the way, but I want to do it this way. Well, that's not working with people cooperatively. You have your dreams, your aspirations, your ways you like to go about things. Other people have theirs. If you're going to work together, then you're creating something new. And that's what love does. Love creates something new. It's not what was. We kind of let go of that old phase of life. And just like we have to, other people as they go through life, some people in the world can always be much more self-centered and egotistical is what these cards could represent. Kind of thinks the world should revolve around them. Well, then those people go out in the world and, when we were younger, anybody at whatever stage of life we were at, but particularly when we were younger, there could have been a lot of people who indulged people in all these different ways of the world because we were all just out in the world trying to get to know people. We had the way we grew up. They had the way they grew up. We could have been attracted to people who were very different because we found it like interesting and exciting maybe. But then, it's kind of the bad girl, good boy, good girl, bad boy phenomenon where you kind of go out in the world when you start out and you kind of do go to these things that seem completely opposite. And part of it can be that is so different than what I've experienced. I don't know anything about that. I find that so exciting. Well, odds are those relationships aren't going to last because probably your whole philosophy of life is different. It's just having too many differences and a whole different way of looking at life. So eventually I think maybe over time people get, more and more as they even learn their truth. A person could go out in the world and say, if this is a spectrum of where people are at in different attitudes or philosophies, they could be here, they could be there, they could be there, they could be anywhere. But as you go out in the world and you meet all these different people and you kind of get more clear about what is really your truth and not the truth necessarily of other people we could have grown up with, our friend group, our family, our community, our state, our country, we could completely shift where we are on the continuum, right? But that takes time to really get to, we settle into what is the truth of who I am. What really motivates and inspires me? Have I worked through my more codependent nature? Have I worked through being more about myself? Maybe my more defensive nature, my more prideful nature, wanting it to just be about me. Some people leave one foundation, like, that's why I think we kind of all go through a codependent stage of the Page of Cups, is because we did grow up in friends, in family groups, probably. Hopefully, some of them were loving and encouraging and supportive. And then as we move forward, we're kind of looking, maybe, especially if those people aren't in our life anymore, we're looking for someone else to take over that role in our life and not us taking over that role within our life. So it can always be looking outside of us for other people to love us, validate our worth and value, appreciate us, motivate and inspire us. But it can keep us in codependent energy if we don't see the truth of that. I need to learn to play that role within myself. Otherwise, is there other people in the world that will be happy to get in a relationship with someone who has a hard time loving and believing in themselves? Yeah, they'll say, come back here and let's do it this way. I'll create the illusion I'm willing to bring your dream into reality, but really we're going to do it more my way, you know? And so you either are that kind of person or you get in relationships with people who are like that. And that's when some people realize that, and they went on this journey to learn all these lessons. Sagittarius energy. There's all these different people in the world. I could have met people who more inspired me in different ways, or were creative and inspiring, or that I just could have been really attracted to. I could have met people who were really bright, really smart, looked at life from a different perspective. I could have met people who were more maybe motivated and inspired to kind of put more work and effort into things. Maybe some other people weren't, who seem more to have overcome maybe being more just about themselves, and people who were more motivated and inspired to bring work together with people in a way to bring a dream into reality. But still there's things to work through. And again, some people you could end up finding out they're more codependent, they're maybe more immature. Shadowy Sagittarius can be that people are more immature. But we can move forward with people in friendship and relationship, and not all those friendships and relationships are going to move to the next stage at the same time, because we're at these different stages of fears, insecurities, defensiveness, past pain and heartbreak, willing to listen to our intuition, willing to step outside of our comfort zone. And sometimes it's us who is the person who's moving forward differently. Sometimes we were the one who repeated an old pattern and other people moved on from us. Just accepting the truth that we could have different dreams, we could have different motivations. Some people could be more codependent. Some people are less codependent. Some people are more defensive to change. Some people are less defensive. Some people are more motivated and inspired to go with the flow of life, willing to try to work together with people more cooperatively, listen to their intuition, are more flexible. Some people are less flexible, more, but I don't want to do it that way. I want to keep doing it this way. And eventually some of those more disparate might be the word. You're just not on the same page. And it can become overwhelming if people keep trying to move something forward, and both people can feel overwhelmed when it's not really their truth. And it can be challenging, maybe if people really wanted to make the relationship work or keep staying in friendship or relationship, or if it's a job, they didn't want to quit that job. But with the next card in the series, we have the Justice card, and underneath that, the reason it came out is the Six of Cups, which is Scorpio energy. But the sixes and the Justice card, Libra, represented by the scales of justice. We can love people. We can have our adult children, brother, sister, mom, dad, friends, family, coworkers, neighborhood people. Would we like to get along with them better than we do? Yeah, but sometimes it is kind of like oil and water, and we all kind of like to hang out with people who are kind of more on the same page as us. If people are more about themselves, they want to be in a relationship with people who are more defensive, to kind of loving and believing in themselves, and want those people. That can be a more imbalanced relationship, which can be the Seven of Swords. I want it to be more about me or these things. I want you to be in the relationship, make it more about me or these things. And for a while, people can certainly do that, partly because they're hoping maybe they like them, attracted to them, love that job, and try to work with people to try to get it to a place of balance. But if it never gets there, it's kind of like, well, it doesn't really matter how much I can like you, love you, be attracted to you. If it's never going to get more balanced and it's always like this mismatch, both people eventually are going to want to go have things change, because they all want to be in a relationship with people that seem to be more on the same page as them. And then we have the Devil and the Four of Swords. Well, I think the people who were being more stubborn, more immature, more defensive, more deceptive or manipulative, trying to, outwit, outplay, because that's how some people view relationships, is they think it's a control thing, and that everybody's just trying to control everybody else to be like have the upper hand. And loving people don't think that way. They're just trying to get along with people and work together with them cooperatively. They're not trying to control or manipulate people. But it's this different way of viewing life. And a more shadowy view of life is that someone is kind of more the indulged person in the relationship in some way. And high vibe energy is like, we're supposed to work together cooperatively out of love for each other. And, you can see how is it going to work out if one person's trying to work together to heal a relationship, and in the Devil, someone is more like, oh, I think you're just trying to manipulate me. Oh, I think you're just trying to control me. I think you use love to try to control and manipulate me. I'm not doing love. I decided to give up on love a long time ago. And I think I can outwit, outsmart, and outplay people. And then they tried to do that, and the high vibe people in their life don't like it. And I do think you're trying to mentally manipulate. And the other people, want justice and fairness and balance, could love those people, but is keeping me stuck and my dream isn't coming into reality. So something has to give. And if what seems to give is that apparently we're not going to get along the way I want, I accept that. It's not going to be a more just and fair and balanced relationship. But I also am not going to want to hang out with people where it's not a more just and fair and balanced relationship. And the Devil can just be that we do have these kind of we could challenge each other in our philosophies of life, because in a world of duality, we could view people who are bossy, controlling, self-centered, egotistical, much more materialistically driven, self-driven, or worse, as like the devil, right? But they equally could view people who are just, fair, balanced, loving, want equal give and take, and they don't want to do that. You're like the devil because you're trying to, in the Four of Swords, which is also Libra energy, you're trying to get them to see the truth of how you view life. They're trying to get you to see the truth of how they view life. I just think, though, the people who are have that more hopeful, believing spirit in love, they're able to get out of their ego. From the Page of Wands to the Eight of Wands, the difference is that Seven of Wands, which over here, did I do my math wrong? Oh no, it is the seven. You know, the high vibe people are able to get out of their ego about it because, and other people cannot understand how other people get out of their ego about it. You know, if people are more caught up or more about themselves or more about people pleasing or conforming to the world or making their life all about ego and image or whatever, they can maybe not understand how come other people aren't caught up in those things like the way they are. And it's because the other people are kind of look at life differently and they're more motivated and inspired by love. And do they want some of those things and might like to indulge in some of those things? And those things are important to them as part of being a human being, but they don't make it the end all be all. I view the sevens as kind of the tipping point. Some people kind of learn to love their more immature nature and want to be more balanced and don't want to keep indulging their more immature nature, prideful nature, past pain and heartbreak, defensiveness, fear, keep repeating an old pattern. They want to move forward and get the justice they deserve. Some people have never gotten over past pain and heartbreak, and they'll stay there being defensive all their life and wanting find other people or maybe in that energy to hang out with that we're all sad that our dream didn't come into reality. Well, high vibe people eventually realize that, you know, could I have had a dream that came into reality with some people, but then again, maybe they're not in this world anymore, right? Well, that doesn't mean that's the end of me having my dreams come into reality. And if I had some people that I wanted a dream to come into reality, but then I saw that our truth was different, I'm not going to keep, I don't want to keep staying feeling betrayed and defensive and overwhelmed. I'm going to offer myself that cup of love to stand up for myself and stand up for my dreams and see that my dream could never come into reality with them anyway. I mean, they showed me that their truth probably was different than my truth, or we'd still be working together. So then I need to be inspired within myself and love myself enough and be bold and brave and confident enough to go get my justice. And the justice is to let go of investing in people that have shown me that their truth isn't my truth. My dream can't come into reality with them. I can't get justice with them. I'm going to go offer a cup of love to people in the world who I do think are more on the same page as me. Some of those people are who they say they are and will keep moving forward. Some of those people were wearing a false mask. And, you know, you can get out of one job, friendship, or relationship, and you're going to meet different types of people in the world. Some of them are just the next shadowy person who wears a false mask who wants you to indulge them in a friendship or relationship. Other people really are who they say they are, and they kind of temper their more shadowy nature. That's what high vibe energy is, tempering. That's high vibe Leo. Your more immature, shadowy nature. Does that exist within all of us where we can all want to be more about ourselves or be more indulged or selfish or whatever? Some people have already, they know it's just not their truth anymore. I mean, there's certain ways of being that some people have detached from. I don't want to act this way. Not going to sit in these thoughts and these emotions. Maybe at one time I did. That doesn't get my life anywhere. I have learned to love myself, to look at life from a higher perspective. I was inspired to get balance within myself. The Six of Cups can also be about reconciling yourself with issues from the past. I worked through my past pain and heartbreak and people in my life who I didn't think were very just and fair, or people who were hurtful and unkind, or whatever. I just put it all in perspective, and then I was able to move forward. Everybody is where they were at. I've been where I've been at different times in my life. Other people have been where they are at. I can only take responsibility for where I was at. Everybody else has to take responsibility for where they were at. And I accept the truth that everybody's different. Some people do want to work together with people in a more just and fair way. And in high vibe Scorpio do deep, meaningful relationships, and other people don't. Other people are happy, living more from their mind than their heart, feel more stable and balanced if they're maybe in more worldly, shadowy Scorpio relationships, where it could be a little more emotionally shallow and superficial. But that's their comfort zone. And everybody has the free will to manifest their idea of the dream life that makes them feel safe, maybe. And for people who are more inspired to high vibe Scorpio kind of go on this roller coaster of life, I am willing to get out of my ego. I want less things to manipulate me. I don't want things within me to keep manipulating me, which can be, my defensiveness, my past pain and heartbreak, my fear, my insecurity, my immature nature, my lust, my greed. I have a dream. I want to learn to love myself. I want to get more balance within myself. I want to heal those aspects of myself that aren't healed. I want to keep going in high vibe Sagittarius on this adventure to keep learning more lessons in life and accept the truth. When people don't want to work together with me in a just and fair and balanced and loving way, I wish them peace to do what they want to do. And when high vibe people do that, some shadowy people aren't going to like it. Because you're no longer moving forward with them, viewing them as victorious and successful, and defending that relationship anymore. Well, because you were trying to move it forward, and it kept not moving forward. And it's like, if you don't want to move forward, you don't. That's fine. But I do. So I'm going to heal that I might be sad, that, things didn't work out the way I wanted. Well, it's not all about me. I don't control things. I'm not the boss. Everybody else has their truth and their motivations. And I'm going to accept the truth of what kind of seems to drive and motivate people. And if it doesn't seem to be working together with people in truth and love, then I wish you peace. You do you. And I'm going to get out of my ego about it. And I'm going to move forward in the Five of Pentacles in the energy of love. And you can do and move forward with whoever you want to move forward with based on whatever it is that drives and motivates you. So it's kind of like the devil being mad that other people healed and saw the truth and aren't willing to keep indulging them in more. You're either working together with people in a more just and fair way, tempering it being more about you, or you're not willing to work together with people that way. And the people who aren't willing to work with people that way, they think that's just and fair. You should kind of indulge me. You should, because you love me or because of whatever, you should keep indulging me. And eventually some people are like, if you've offered everything you can, if you've offered truth and love and encouragement and treated people in a just and fair way, trying to get them to work together with you in that way, and they don't want to work together with you in that way, eventually you see the truth of it and you accept the truth of it and you get out of your ego about it. I'm going to let you go do that with someone else. And I'm going to go find some people in the world who do want to work together with people motivated and inspired by love, and the other people have a different truth. I could think it's just and fair for me to be more immature, not look at life from a higher perspective, not work through my fears, my insecurities, my defensive nature, my past pain and heartbreak. I do have all these things within me and outside of me that manipulate me, and you, because you love me, should let all those things manipulate you too. And it's like, those things don't manipulate me the way they manipulate you, or those people don't. But if they do, then you go work that out with them. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Aquarius energy that they might not see coming? Well, again, as you're moving forward, sometimes some shadowy energy can be where people are trying to manipulate and control people, hoping they won't love and believe in themselves enough to move on. And then they'll do all this stuff thinking, oh, you're going to come back. Oh, you won't love and believe in yourself. And then when they see that you've healed and you've moved on, that's when sometimes some people can try to get someone back. But the thing is, every day that you were moving forward and healing and acting kind of more with character and integrity and the other people weren't, is another day that you see that they're not who you thought they were. You kind of see through the illusion that you had about the type of person that they were. And that's when you keep moving forward. That's like, because in the meantime, they could do all this shadowy stuff, trying to control and manipulate you and make you feel overwhelmed and hurt you and not be telling the truth and being self-indulgent in some way. And eventually the devil sees, like, you healed, you moved on. You freed yourself. Well, devil's going to have to go find someone else to try to pick on and manipulate, right? And it might be some of the very people who were trying to manipulate you. What's coming up for the high vibe people they don't see coming? The Lovers and the Eight of Cups. And the reason is because of the King of Cups. The people who are motivated and inspired by love listen to their intuition. They realized a dream wasn't going to come into reality with some people. And they let go of that old dream to go get the justice they deserve. They offered truth and love and encouragement to their own fears and insecurities to get out of their defensiveness, to go out in the world listening to their intuition and love to guide them. And then they took action listening to that love and intuition within themselves and seeing who is more just and fair and loving and tempered and works cooperatively together and who doesn't. And I think because of that, there can be people in our life. The Lover's card is Gemini energy, about our dualistic nature. We can know people who, in their Gemini nature, we could just feel they wear more of a false mask. Like that isn't who they really are, but they can present themselves as very just and fair and loving and like a shining star in the world. But it can feel like it's not really love. It's more mental strategy from the mind. And, it doesn't ever become a more deep, meaningful relationship because you have to come out from behind your ego and be more authentic. Get out of your defensiveness to do a more deep, meaningful relationship. And you realize that wasn't going to happen. And if you stayed in those friendships or relationships or jobs, to whatever degree they were kind of shadowy, your dream wasn't going to come into reality. And though the devil could talk about you had your fears, you did this work within yourself to love and believe in yourself and get balance within yourself to face your fears about going out there in the world or getting a different job or whatever. And by taking that action, having hope and faith and belief in yourself and in love, in the Eight of Cups, it helped you become independent of this old phase of life. And people in your life who might have wanted to stay in friendship and relationship with you, but it was more wanting you to conform to some way of living life that wasn't your truth. And then in the Five of Pentacles, it can talk about that you might have to go through a period of feeling left out in the cold because you're not looking to other people like to fill your cup emotionally. I am going to do this work within myself to fill my own cup emotionally and get balance within myself. And then from the 1 cup to the 6 of cups is working through the 5 of cups, which can be the regrets of the past when people didn't work together with you more cooperatively from love. And you've healed. And then you're ready to move forward in life differently. So truth and love and listening to our intuition, that our dreams can only come into reality with people who are kind of on the same page as us at the same time. And sometimes we were on the same page, and that could have been a period to help us all work through some issues. But then we're not really on the same page, but if you kind of look at everything as how everything in your life could have all been to help you along your journey of life. Now, we had people who could have come into our life that were more bossy, controlling, prideful, abusive, or whatever. Did we listen to our intuition and walk away from those people? No. Well, then, eventually we probably did. And then it's kind of looking at that. Why did I get in it? Why did I stay in it as long as I did? There was a lesson to be learned there to help us on our journey. And part of it was that we needed to heal ourselves, because the answer lies within us. When we have learned to love ourselves and get balance within ourselves and reconcile with those things from the past, that's when we're in that more creative, inspired, hopeful, believing energy. And we take the lessons that we've learned. Oh, when I meet someone and they act like this or they do that, it's like, yeah, no. And being less manipulated in your want for these things of the world. No, I have a dream. I have a truth that I am trying to manifest. If that isn't seeming to be on the same page, like if I know my idea of the dream life is not to be with somebody who's much more immature. Well, when I meet people and they show me they're immature, okay, can I know them? Can they be a friend, social acquaintance? Yeah. Am I going to get in a more involved relationship with them? No. If I meet people who are more stubborn or bossy or prideful, and I know that's not my idea of people I like to hang out with, then I acknowledge that truth. I see the truth of the devil, and I've healed from the devil. And I'm not going, I already have indulged it before. I already know where it gets me. It doesn't get me where I want to go. And why were these emotionally complex human beings, is what Scorpio talks about. Why would I want to indulge myself in something that I already know isn't aligned with my truth? Because the devil can kind of get a stranglehold on us. All those things we could go kind of indulge in that we think, oh no, this is fine. And oh, this is going to make me feel better. And oh, I'm just going to do it for a while. We can deceive ourselves and not want to see the truth. And then the devil gets a stranglehold on us. And then we think the devil's just and fair. And we keep doing it. So, high people have become independent of some things that at one time kind of had a stranglehold on them, but they've healed. They've seen through the illusion. The devil lies. The devil isn't motivated and inspired by love or to be just and fair. And it's just more about how it benefits the devil. So what's coming up for the people who are more shadowy Aquarius energy? The devil and the Fool card. And the reason is because of the Page of Cups. So some people just have this journey in life to go on, just like the rest of us did, and that's Sagittarius. Some people aren't ready to move forward in life differently, in a more balanced way, in a more deep, meaningful relationship, because there's still some things that they haven't healed from or that tempt them. It's kind of like the devil's working with them. and and they're also looking to those things to be the answer. And they're going to keep that's still going to be the primary focus in their life and what they defend, because they're sure that's the answer. That's what they love. That's what they think is the truth. If I think the way of being is to be defensive and manipulative and prideful to get what I want, then, because that's my truth and that's what I think is just and fair, they're going to keep acting that way and just hope to find people who are going to align with them and get in a friendship or relationship with them and indulge them in that way. Some people could be, the devil can represent these things of the world. It could be that people are attractive, have status, have image, social clout or something. Some people, they either have that and they want other people to indulge them in a relationship for those reasons. And there can always be people who are willing to do that. Other people, they really want those things of the world, and they're willing to indulge other people for those things. And the other people in their life are happy, they're willing to indulge them for those things. If it's not more just and fair and balanced and authentic and loving, people could live their life letting their ego, their immaturity, their lust, their greed, their pride, their ego, other people, the world at large, jealousy, envy, all those things manipulate them all their life. And they could all say, well, we think we're just and fair. And this is just and fair. Some people, high vibe energy, high vibe Aquarius is shining your authentic light in the world. And some people think you shouldn't shine your authentic light in the world. You should hide your light under a bushel basket. You should make your life about conforming to the world. You should indulge these people who have this certain status and image. I would indulge them if I had the opportunity to be in a relationship with someone like that. It's like, then you go find yourself someone like that and you go indulge them for those reasons. That's not my truth. And the people could be mad that other people aren't indulging something or someone or living their life a certain way, blaming the person who isn't trying to be bossy or controlling, being hurtful, being unkind, being unjust, being unfair, being superficial and shallow. They're blaming the person who's not that way for standing up for themselves. Everything would have been fine if you would have just let them be bossy and controlling and bitchy or witchy or whatever. Then we would have all been happy. But no, you wouldn't play the game. You wouldn't indulge the devil. So it's to blame the people who wouldn't play the game. Everything would have worked out just fine if you would have just let them be immature or bossy or controlling or manipulative or unjust or unfair. It's like, hey, if that's how you want to live your life, you go indulge them. I'm not going to. But other people can be mad at the people because it kind of maybe changed the dynamic. Maybe some people are mad because they're not, high vibe energy also, the truth sets you free. You have to quit defending a lie. You have to quit defending people who aren't just and fair and authentic or, Now other people might have to kind of indulge those people and they're upset. Well, you used to do that. You used to be the one who kind of indulged them and worked with them and tried to keep them on the straight and narrow. Well, now you're gone. Now we've got to do it. It's like, you don't have to do it if you don't want. Just because those other people kind of protected someone and created an illusion and helped contribute to the illusion about who someone was, doesn't mean you have to. You can let them just live their authentic life. Don't lie on their behalf. Don't create an illusion about that they're these more just and fair and balanced and loving people than they really are. Let them go do themselves and you go live your life. But some people have some lessons to learn, and they either want to be in a more codependent relationship or they want people to be more codependent on them. And they're unwilling to temper their ego nature and stand up to their shadow nature and other shadowy people in their life. So I think they're just going to repeat an old pattern. They're going to indulge people. People are going to indulge them. It's kind of like this. It ends up kind of being this hierarchical way of living life. And then it's kind of weird. Like if you go out in the world and you meet people, and if they're very used to being around people where it's this very hierarchical way of being, like, well, I have a certain status and image, and this person has a certain status. It's like the pecking chain. And then you go out in the world and people are like, I'm kind of in a higher pecking order than you. You should be more willing to indulge me. And you're like, what? There's a pecking order? Oh, no, I don't really like pecking orders. I don't, you know. Well, because we might have a certain status or image or dress a certain way or whatever. And the high vibe people are like, I'm willing to work together with all of you in a just and fair way, but I don't think that anybody is to be, everybody can have, like, even in a workplace, everybody has different positions and authorities and responsibilities. We work together with those people cooperatively for this common goal. But it's not like I think you should be able to be abusive or bitchy or witchy or whatever to different people because you have that position. I would think that's not a very loving, just, fair, balanced person. And some people really don't like that. And they really do want, eventually shadowy people don't want to be around more high vibe people, because the high vibe people are living their life in a way they don't want to live their life. And they could probably like the pecking order because they might think they might benefit from the pecking order. And high vibe people just like, I don't like to just do a pecking order. I don't really care where anybody thinks I am on the pecking order strata. And I'm going to let the people who like to do a pecking order strata hang out with each other. And I'm going to go find people who just want to get to know people and treat them the way they like to be treated. So there you go, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.